Welcome to Real to Real Talk. I am your host, Paul Britton, and with me this week is our friend Sergio.
Paul, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you, Sergio?
Doing good. Trying to stay not melting here in Arizona.
Yeah, how's that working for you?
Barely.
Barely. Okay. I'm
It's
assuming
been
that
hot.
I'm assuming you didn't bring a bathing suit to take advantage of your lovely hotel pool.
No one wants to see that, first of all.
Well,
But
who cares what they
but
want? It's
the pool. Here's the problem: the pool is outdoors
yeah.
in the sun, and so
The sun, so just
it
the
was
sun
115 yesterday.
sun is flat out bad, even if you're
Yeah.
submersed in water with
Yes.
115 above you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
See, I love the I've been in desert climbs before, and
Yeah.
I genuinely love it's baking outside, I'm going in the pool. Like, that's my favorite time. Like, I just want to be so that I have to be in the water, like, up until
Okay.
here. Like, that's what I want. That's the temperature I want.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
get that.
but hey, you know what? It's a good environment to be sitting in a movie theater for an extended period of time.
Very true. Very true.
Um, and you and I both did that, and there was a really good reason to be there this weekend amongst many other people to go see Spider-Man Brand New Day,
Yeah.
which today passed $1 billion globally.
Really.
Yes. So, all right. So
I know. I knew it was huge.
we're going to talk box office first. So
Yeah.
it's the second biggest opening weekend ever, and not including like a holiday weekend, which has like 5 days or whatever. We're just talking Friday to Sunday, second biggest to Endgame.
Okay, I was gonna say, was Endgame bigger?
Yeah, clocked in at
Okay.
360 million. This past weekend was the largest 3-day box office total ever, period.
Wow.
And we can thank Odyssey having legs for that, because like when Endgame came out, there nobody was going to see anything else. Like it
Yeah.
was just all Endgame. I should have gone and looked back, but I bet like number 2 in the box office was probably like at 8 million or something just ridiculously small like that. Whereas, the Odyssey had a respectable, I think, 51 million. But so today it did 45 million domestic, and bringing its domestic total to 407. And the foreign total is at right now 645 million, bringing it to 1.05 billion.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is second on the year, behind Toy Story 5, which has been out for 5 weeks now, and Toy Story 5 is at 1.068 billion. So literally tomorrow, after 6 days being out,
Yeah.
actually no, today, like, because the numbers are through Monday. So today, Spider-Man Brand New Day will be the number 1 movie of the year after only
Wow.
5 days total. Whereas, it's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. And these are numbers that, like, pre-COVID 2019, it was like, yeah, this is what these movies do. Period. End
Right.
of story. But now it's just kind of like, can a movie make it to 40 million? That's really good to open with, and we're happy with that now. But
Right.
this is just bonkers.
So, have you had a chance to look at how this one compares to the previous Spider-Man films?
The previous Spider-Man films. Let's see if I can find that. I should be able to find it quickly. Where's my Spider-Man tracking? Oh, that's Marvel's comparison. Not quickly. I thought it would have it for me ready to
Okay.
go. It does not. But um it like, obviously it beat those, like,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
let's
Absolutely.
just be clear, it beat those. I mean, this is going to make 2 billion easy,
Yeah.
like, easy. And I don't necessarily know. Let's check all time top lifetime grosses. Oh, that's not right. Oh, this is domestic. Well, crap. Okay, let's just go ahead with domestic. Domestic, the number one is The Force Awakens at 936 million. Avengers Endgame is number two at 853, and No Way Home is number three at 814. It's going to pass 814 easily.
It's almost disappointing that The Force Awakens is number one. I mean, anyway.
Yeah,
but
thank Sergio for coming by, everybody.
No, I do. I want to make a comment on the Odyssey, if I may.
Okay.
Because I still haven't seen it, but when you talk about those numbers holding and having legs,
Right.
I'm here in Arizona and I'm trying to get in to see it 70 millimeter IMAX, right?
Okay.
I have been here 2 weeks. I'm in my third week. I cannot get a seat
Right.
until my last week here.
Yeah.
And it's still first two rows.
Yeah.
Like, it's that movie
for IMAX.
From an IMAX standpoint. Yeah, you just can't get in. And not only that, but I'm from here. I go to Houston, which doesn't have 70 millimeter IMAX. So
yeah.
I either see it here, or I'm just going to have to see it at a regular theater.
So we'll table that.
Sure.
I will bring that up at the end.
Okay.
But the Odyssey is sitting at 922 million, so it's going to make $1 billion. It will be Nolan's largest movie. But like, I mean, it's 3 weeks. It's 922 million. Spider-Man Brand New Day at 1.05 billion. It's insane, crazy. And that's why we're just going to keep the 1 billion with exclamation marks underneath it as we have this conversation. You know, when No Way Home came out, you and I were doing this show. Like this was our show. And I went back and looked at my star ratings for all of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies.
Okay.
I have literally given each one the equivalent of 4 tacos plus guac. Okay. And I think that speaks to the consistency of this franchise. It is just one of the consistently like stellar, but never like, oh, this is, one of the best movies of the year, but always like, this is one of the 10 best movies of the year for sure,
Gotcha.
And I feel like that's the jumping off point from there. And I feel like that's also why it's made $1 billion through 5 days.
Yeah.
And my concern from the last movie was that, so we last see Peter, everybody has forgotten him.
Right.
And it felt like a contrivance in order for Sony to break away from the MCU. Thankfully, that's not what happened. And it just turned into a way to turn him into the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man while still being part of the MCU. And I appreciated that. And I think that really worked here.
Yeah. The thing with this film, and again, I think it bears, some to give you some context. I'm sure you remember I have not been a fan of the Tom Holland Spider-Man films.
Okay.
Each one has just not moved me. I don't remember what my taco scores were, but I decided a couple of weeks ago I'm going to rewatch the first 3.
Okay.
And I will say, admittedly, that I enjoyed them more the second time around.
Okay.
So I think what happened with at least the first one, I was still in my nothing beats Endgame mode, which is still going on. But but my whole thing, well, not the first one, the second one, I think it was.
The third one would have been the only one that came out after Endgame.
Okay, well then what it would have been is simply, I just have never been a fan of the Tom Holland Spider-Man outside of the ensemble of the Avengers. Okay.
So you like Tom Holland in Civil War, you like Tom Holland in the Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
But
there was just something about how they were portraying him in the first few films that it just didn't move me. Right.
Okay.
So on rewatch, I will admit I enjoyed them more,
Okay.
especially the third one.
Okay.
And I think that's because there is that direct link to what is happening in Brand New Day. Although I have beef, but I'm glad I rewatched because I feel like it gave me a an ability to be more fair to the franchise on its own.
Okay.
Okay, outside of everything else that Marvel's done since that first film came out, I looked at it purely as its own franchise, right?
Okay.
And I feel like I came out of it appreciating it more. So, for what that's worth.
Yeah. No, that's good. I'm happy to hear that you did go back and give them another look.
Yeah.
Um, and it's funny because I when you talk about like three movies of this caliber, and comparing that, it's really tough because
Yeah.
when you get to be, like I said, I mean, I rated those all three of them in a vacuum. I didn't
Mhm.
go back and look at one, and I did it within in mind. I'm like, okay, I know I don't want to give this one. I just want to go back and make sure that makes sense based on my feeling now and looking back and where I place this movie in comparison to the other ones. And it's like, okay, well, all three are in the same category, so
Gotcha.
this makes sense. And I do feel like uh the the continuity for this to really be the where there was so much going on with Spider-Man's character
Mhm.
within the MCU that it kind of felt like, stuff's going on, stuff's going on. Oh, here's a Spider-Man movie. Stuff's going on, stuff's going on. Here's another Spider-Man movie. Stuff's going on, stuff's going on. Here's another Spider-Man movie.
Right.
This time, there was nothing going on from last Spider-Man into this Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Nothing happened here. So it's
Yeah.
literally, here's a Spider-Man movie, here's another Spider-Man movie. And I do think that helped this movie a lot. I
Okay.
do. It really, really felt like it wasn't carrying any baggage or weight on the character other than what was put upon it by the prior movie. And the prior movie put a lot of baggage on it.
Yeah.
And how did for you, how did it work? How did the idea of Spider-Man lone wolf on his own, no friends, living in the big city, being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and really having no contact. How did that work for you? Did you appreciate
It,
it?
yeah. No. I did. It worked well. Again, having with the recency of the third film, it 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 kind of dovetails into this film very smoothly, and I continue to have that same appreciation I was left with on the second rewatch because I felt like it gave it the heart I had felt it was missing.
Okay.
Something about that, you're stripping away everything else,
Yeah.
and now it's just about the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, right?
Right.
And I felt that way more, and I love the pairing of him and law enforcement with the character. I wish I could remember her name off the top of my head because that actress is fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, she's great in The Bear. Um, but that connection, the visit to the quick visit to the bodega, there were just these elements that really made it feel like I don't know how. Okay, the only phrase I can come up with is I felt at home in the environment that was being created by the film,
Yeah.
and so and that made the rest of it have way more heart than what I have felt was in the first three films. So
Mhm.
I loved that. I don't even know if I call it a pivot. I get what you're saying, but whatever it is, it gave it to me of the four. It gave it. It was the most Spidey Tom Holland,
Yes.
Spidey,
Yes.
of all of them, and I really appreciated that going into this film, that's what we had.
Yeah, that was Detective DeWolf.
Yes.
And she is basically like Commissioner Gordon for Spider-Man.
Right, right.
It's like, the champion for Spider-Man on the police force that
Mhm.
reaches out to Spider-Man, lets him know what's going on, and is willing to seek help from him.
Yeah.
And uh and so with all of the prior Spider-Man movies, the first two, Iron Man was there to be his North Star, or
Right.
and his support, and his, and obviously with May being the sort of like the emotional, but Spider-Man being his, this is how you be a hero kid. And then in the third movie, with Iron Man gone now, we bring in Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield to be the Peter Parkers that say, all right, kid, this is how you be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He taught you how to be a superhero. Now we're going to teach you how to be a Spider-Man. This one,
Yeah.
it's him. It's him being Spider-Man, and
Right.
he has to rely on himself. And it had to be that way. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man needed to be a grown up at this movie, and I was extremely relieved to move away from Spider-Man as the apprentice into
Yes.
Spider-Man as a grown-up.
Absolutely. And you strip everything away, and yet the film felt bigger.
Right.
There was something about the construct of the overall film itself that felt bigger because you were now vested in just Spider-Man.
Right.
Peter Parker,
100% Peter Parker. This is a Peter Parker movie. This is a Tom Holland movie. This is a Spider-Man movie.
Yes, absolutely.
And we get Poppins as well, though. So have you watched John Bernthal as the Punisher at all in any of the television shows he's appeared in?
No, I can't say I have.
Okay.
It's been on my list for a while, and nothing against John Bernthal. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know how much of what we saw in the film is correlated to how he plays it in the series, because I imagine there's got to be a balance.
There is a correlation in that he plays the Punisher, and that's about where the correlation ends, because Punisher is not a PG-13 character.
Exactly. Yeah.
But this is a spoiler warning for the Daredevil television shows, and I apologize to anybody, but like Matt Murdock, who does appear in the third movie in No Way Home, who is Daredevil, is in jail right now in the MCU. Right. And so he could not be. I feel like if Matt Murdock weren't in jail, it would have made a lot of sense to have Daredevil in this.
Okay.
And probably more sense because this movie is setting up for Spider-Man to appear in Secret Wars, which I'm just ridiculously excited about. That's two Marvel movie or two Avengers movies away.
Right.
First we got to get through Doomsday, and then we can get to Secret Wars, because you can't have Secret Wars without Iron Man, or not Iron Man. I had Robert Downey Jr. on my head.
Yeah.
You can't have Secret Wars without Doom. So you have to have Doomsday, and you can't have Secret Wars without Spider-Man. And you kind of can't have Secret Wars without Daredevil either. Like, he's a lesser character, but he's like really like the important contingency of characters in Secret Wars are Fantastic Four, all of your New York based guys. So Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Daredevil.
Gotcha.
And your mutants, which is all the X-Men, and obviously the Avengers play a role as well. But those are, Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four adjacent, where Spider-Man and Daredevil pop up in Fantastic Four comics all the time, and the X-Men are just so important to Secret Wars, and so I'm getting off topic. I apologize. But
I appreciate your excitement about it.
It's just the thing that I have wanted my entire life, it's just a Secret Wars movie, because it was the original Secret Wars comic came out right when I was reading comics, and it's just the one thing that I want in my life. But anyway, and I'm going to get it. But when it comes to this movie, they had to. Part of showing Spider-Man as being an adult is showing him, I think, in my mind, in conjunction with other heroes or anti-heroes in the case of the Punisher, but being independent of them, not being, like, okay, great, he's doing his own thing. How does he interact with other heroes though? And he was clearly an independent character, and I loved that. I loved the Spider-Man Punisher interactions, not just because they do come up in the comics, but because it shows that Spider-Man has grown up.
Yeah.
There's so many things that happen in this movie that is like, hey, Spider-Man's grown up, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and just the fact that Tom Holland looks way older.
Tom Holland looked way older.
Yeah.
And also Spider-Man's going through puberty, or and it's just, and I just loved it's such good character development. I really appreciated. I really appreciated the fact that they were like, we're doing this. Like, it's a clean break. And I liked that. From a story standpoint, so one of the things that is difficult in comic book movies frequently is the bad guy. And this is one of those comic book movies where it's like they wrong foot you throughout with who is actually the bad guy.
Big time.
We start with Sadie Sink's character. Yes, Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey. We're not going to even pretend that's a spoiler at this point.
Sure.
It had been rumored forever and ever and ever. This, we're doing it now. This is a pure MCU movie, not Deadpool versus Wolverine. It's we're bringing the mutants in, and Jean Grey is the conduit for that. And it's the classic, oh, she's the bad guy, except that we kind of know that she's not the bad guy. And so therefore, it's just a matter of getting to her backstory to figure out why she's not actually the bad guy, even though she kind of is responsible for the death of several people, but we'll just, we'll sweep that under the rug. I did like the fact that some classic Spider-Man bad guys do pop up briefly, like the Scorpion and Boomerang and some a couple others. Very brief. It's a montage. It's an A+ montage from a superhero movie where, yes, just show me just flashes of these minor bad guys that show up in Spider-Man storylines. I'm happy. And it turns out that and it's not a secret, and it's super telegraphed, but the bad guys are as usual the government agency, and yes, the one of the biggest complaints I've seen with this movie, and I think it's a completely valid movie, is that the bad guy is the villain's a little bit weak. It's not propping anything up in this movie, and it's not really bringing anything to the movie. And in my mind, how did you feel about it?
I really, okay, for me, the impact was such that I didn't feel let down.
Right.
But the trailers for this film did nothing but gaslight us into thinking that so many different people might be the main villain, right?
Right.
And so I was surprised at how I wasn't disappointed about that, because I remember very early in the film when it was very evident that, okay, this was all just I'm trying to think of the word. I don't want to call it a ruse, but it was.
There were red herrings. There were red herrings.
It was a big swerve.
Yeah.
But I wasn't disappointed because of how engaging the story was.
Correct.
Right.
And the engaging part of the story was what Spider-Man was going through, not so much the bad guy doing bad things.
Right. So much of it was, it was funny because the early part of the film reminds you of what was left behind, right?
Right.
And then, it kind of progresses to what his present day life looks like. And so they left just enough, of the, hey, here's where we are and here's what happened, jumped right into the story, and then it just moved from there so swiftly. We didn't get I loved that we didn't get this, a lot of there wasn't a lot of this emotional wrenching sort of feeling. There's a very creative moment where, the whole audience is fooled, but it was just so well played that you're like, you know, wow. And then you're like, wait, even before the reveal, you're like, no, this can't be. So it was all those emotions,
Yeah.
all those feelings that just sent you on this roller coaster through the film. So I wasn't disappointed at all. And again, I don't have the back knowledge that you do of all these characters, right?
Mhm.
Because my entire comic book experience has been through these films, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm listening to you talk and like appreciating how exciting it is for you.
Yeah.
For me though, as someone who, this is it. This is my knowledge base. I didn't feel let down by any of what the trailer gave me. In fact, I appreciated that, oh, I'm not in the story I thought I was going to be in.
Yeah.
And it's a great story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
and like the government agency that is uh that is the bad guys is what is it? The not Department of Cleanup. Oh,
Damage
I
control.
Damage Control. The Department of Damage Control. And like there's no way you can be a government agency, and we've seen, and Damage Control has been at the center of things going on in the MCU, quite honestly, since the first Spider-Man movie, where the Vulture was stealing things from Damage Control to build machinery,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
build it's Michael Keaton stealing from Damage Control to
Right.
get the wings. And so Damage Control has shown up a lot, and they've always been skirting a morally questionable line, and now they're just way past where they were.
Right.
And this is something that pops up in Marvel, where it's like it's really important when we talk about that in connection with like the X-Men, because it's not Damage Control, but it is a clandestine kind of secret government agency that stokes anti-mutant fear and builds the Sentinels that go around hunting down. It's the government's always sort of like being big, negative,
Mhm.
shocking, not that that's happening today or anything. Uh, you know, uh, Negative player within the Marvel universe. So, the, that they have taken the heel turn
Right.
that they did in this movie. One, necessary. Two, not even the least bit surprising. And anybody who, even though I may not have known, the character's name, anybody who, as soon as you meet the sort of like the head of Damage Control in New York City, as soon as you met that guy, you're like, okay, well, this is a bad guy. Like, did you pick up on that immediately, or was that something that it took a little bit longer?
No, I've learned to be ultra suspicious of the innocuous. And
Okay.
so, yeah, I had a feeling, like I said, I was able to, suspended in disbelief is still easy for me. So I
Right.
was like, okay, I don't think this guy is this, especially the whole situation. There was a discussion where it was when Spider-Man was leaving his office that I was like, okay, I think I know where this is going.
Right.
And so, yeah, no, it was well played enough for me to be like, yeah, I think I'm right. But then I'm always usually wrong. So
Yeah.
I felt proud of myself when I realized I was right.
So the big set piece that we get in this movie from an action, there are two big ones. We get the Hulk versus Spider-Man and the Punisher, and then we
Mhm.
get Spider-Man versus the Hand. And I loved them both. And I really I kind of feel like uh it was really nice to see the MCU finally kind of like take the cuffs off of the Hulk and
Mhm.
just release the actual Hulk. That I loved that. Like that
Yeah,
was probably my favorite part of the movie, was getting to see the Hulk really be the Hulk.
gotcha.
And the, so there's during that fight, Peter's, I didn't know you could get that big. Like that was just
Yeah.
such a that was just
No, great line. Yeah.
such a great line. What was like what are some of the scenes that you found that you really connected with?
that was the big one. I mean, for me, anything dealing with the Hulk, I'm a big Mark Ruffalo fan,
Yep.
and no matter what he does, and so his appearances in any of these films, because he kind of randomly appears here and there,
Right.
is always for me entertaining because he is just that everyman, right? But then the degree to which they hulked up the Hulk, was I had the same thought you did. I'm like, this is the Hulk I've been waiting for,
Right. Right.
There of course are some moments where I'm like, you know, I go back to like the Thanos fight and stuff, right?
Right.
And I'm like, golly, this is what we needed back then.
Yes, for
But no,
sure.
I really enjoyed that sequence. And for me, while all of the action sequences were phenomenal, I think the stuff I enjoyed the most about the film were the I don't know. I hope Zendaya gets credit for all she did in this movie,
For sure.
because
She carried a lot.
yeah, absolutely. This was not equal, but close in terms of screen time, first of all, but
Right.
also her ability to fluctuate, even in the small moments with John Bernthal. There's just something so her, meaning MJ,
Yeah.
that it reminded me of why I appreciated her portrayal of that classic character,
Hmm.
because she's given her this edge, and so not only is she asked to go on this emotional roller coaster of beats that are related to who the hell is this guy, and then the letter, and then the way that whole story kind of uh denouement for now. um that really honestly was the most of what I appreciated about this film, where the story and dialogue parts, because the action I already expected, like it had to be there,
Hmm.
right? And so it was all the other stuff that I felt. You and I have often talked about how I love talky films.
Yes.
This was a movie that had an equal balance of both,
Yes.
and was done successfully
Yes.
because one didn't overshadow the other. It fed the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I loved all of the interaction. And Ned, I mean, the
Ned.
interactions. I mean, that the entire sequence in the living room.
Yeah, where they're
I
building
was like,
Legos.
why
Yeah.
am I tearing up? Like,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
that is what I love most about it, because I said it. I've said it a couple of times. That's what I mean when a movie shows heart,
For sure.
and when that can be as compelling as action.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it's
And
it's a great experience.
and the movie does such a good job of showing the passage of time and
But yeah,
in the beginning of the movie. And so this does take place 4 or 5 years after the events of No Way Home. And they show that by showing Peter lurking on Ned's socials and
yeah,
seeing him go through his time at MIT. That it's like, what, so you appreciate that, and
yeah,
everybody's had a friend who they lost contact with for 4 years, but they pick it back up and are
right.
and it just feels like you haven't missed a single beat, much like you coming on the show here. And you've had moments where you just kind of felt like maybe you weren't the same person anymore, but then making those connections again reminds what, you can always be the person that you want to be. And
Right.
that I felt like that is why this movie for me is in conversation to for the best of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, and
Okay.
is also, but at worst for me it's three, for
Gotcha.
at worst. And I, unless you have anything else to say, I feel like that leads us to giving it some ratings.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Um, so for myself, and man, I really went back and forth on this because I really did enjoy this film.
Let me just explain our rating system
Yeah.
first,
Oh, sorry,
Sergio.
sorry, sorry.
We never know if somebody's watching for the
I
first
got
time.
excited. Yeah.
Here at Real to Real Talk, we do tacos instead of stars, and if we feel like something deserves a little extra, instead of doing half a taco, we'll add guac. Why? Because nobody eats half a fucking taco. Okay, Sergio, go ahead.
All right. So I really went back and forth on this. Even while I was watching, I'm like, where am I going to land on this?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, So I was either going to give it an extra star because I felt like it redeemed my entire Spider-Man experience.
An extra star? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, meaning from where I stood.
What's a star? What's a star?
I'm sorry, a taco. Sorry,
okay. Okay.
God, sorry. It's been a while since I've done this.
It's your damn scale, Sergio. I inherited it. The least you could do is come on here and pick it right up.
It.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So I was either going to give it an extra taco.
Yeah.
Because of how it redeemed sort of the whole franchise for me.
Okay.
Or I was going to short it a taco because there's a massive storyline piece that we've now been forced to wait on.
Okay. Which is what's the massive storyline piece that we're forced to wait on?
People remembering. I mean, maybe we're never going to see it, right?
Okay.
That's what I was hoping for, right? And so there's that moment. Are we spoiling? I guess so.
Yeah.
There's the moment at the end.
Yes.
I was like, when
Ned and Peter share a moment.
There's a moment. Yes.
Yes.
You're not quite sure, but anyway. So
well,
yeah. Okay. My point is when I was getting ready to watch this film, I'm like, either it's going to be resolved, or they're going to make us wait. Because there'll be more of these films, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I was like, when we were made to wait, part of me was like, do I dock it a taco? Because I was initially very annoyed. I was like, I went with Nick.
Okay.
And I was like, I by far enjoyed this film more, and he was so happy because I haven't before.
Right.
And I said, this was phenomenal, but F them for making me wait.
Okay.
Right. So all that to say, and this is, I must admit that my rating for my taco rating for this film is also based on the fact that I haven't gotten to watch as many movies as I'm used to.
Right.
So I'm just going to go and say, I'm going to go with my heart. For me, this was a 5 taco film.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
5 tacos because it really hit all the beats. It was compelling from frame one. And despite my own feeling about, well, God, I wanted more. That's all it was. I wanted more. But you know what? I'll be patient. 5 tacos for Spider-Man Brand New Day.
So my internal monologue when I was thinking about this was, this is a 4 tacos plus guac movie. And that's just where I was. And I was like, I'm going with 4 tacos plus guac. I could be convinced to do 5 tacos. There's absolutely no scenario where I'm going down to 4 tacos.
Yeah.
It's either a 5 taco or 4 taco plus guac. And I had landed on 4 tacos plus guac, and I said, but I need to make sure that makes sense with what I've given the other movies. And the fact that I've given them all 4 tacos plus guac tells me that 4 tacos plus guac is 100% the correct rating on this.
Gotcha.
And it sets up for a 5 tacos plus guac Secret Wars that I just absolutely cannot wait for. I felt like this was the most emotionally complete movie of the trilogy. I felt this one had by far the least interesting villain of the 4 movies.
Okay.
So really, if it had a B+ villain, and because I'm not counting Jean Grey, because at no point did I really feel like, oh, Jean Grey's the villain. If it had a B+ villain, I would be like, okay, this is a 5 taco movie. But it still has just the problem with some comic book movies where it can be difficult to both meet the emotional necessity for to build the characters and the story necessity to build a kick-ass villain. And it hits a grand slam with the emotional stuff. So that's where I land for tacos plus guac.
I have to ask you, how long are we waiting? I don't know what the timeline is. I know we have Doomsday later this year.
Yeah.
How long before Secret Wars?
I think 29.
Oh my God, that's a lot of stuff.
I know. It's either 28 or 29. I could be wrong. It might be 28. I'll say it's 28, just so you don't get mad. Yeah, it's 2028. It's not 2027. It is not next year.
Okay, got
I
it.
think it's 2028.
Gotcha.
I think
Okay,
they need
fine.
to
I'll eat
do.
better.
I think they need to do Black Panther. I think it's either 20 and 29. Really, really fast. Don't go anywhere.
Sure.
I watched a movie on Apple Plus called The Dink. It's a comedy. It's the story. It's just your classic like sports movie send up where there's a guy, he's a former professional tennis player who doesn't make it. Jake Johnson is the main character. Dustin Boyd, Andy Roddick pops in as his nemesis from when he was on the USTP, and instead of playing because he sucks at tennis now, not sucks because he can't play tennis anymore, he falls into playing pickleball, and it's silly. Mary Steenburgen, he signs up to, like, he learns pickleball by playing with like several older women, because like he signs up for what he thinks is like a community event to play pickleball, but it turns out it was just three women that needed a fourth, and so and Mary Steenburgen kind of play it. It's cute. It's fine. At no point did I belly laugh, but also at no point was I mad at it. So I'm giving it 2 tacos plus guac. It's 100% worth your time if you have something else to do.
You made it sound very compelling, so I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Awesome.
It's not great though. It's not great. Like
Listen, I'm away from home for 6 more weeks.
I know.
I need things to watch.
But so speaking of greatness, the Odyssey. So I am going to be watching the Odyssey again this weekend. I have a very good friend of mine is going to be coming in from out of town. It's not that much. He's driving down from Orlando to come down and watch the Odyssey with me. He hasn't seen it yet. He's been traveling. Do you think you could get to go see the Odyssey this weekend? Because I would love to come on and do an Odyssey re-review and have you involved.
Yeah, I think so. Given everything that I know, is we're finishing up this week with some colleagues who are here in town who I've been working with. Yes, I will make it a point to, even if I can't get in to see it on 70 millimeter,
which you're not going to get to, but you're going to go see it and then you're going to be like, you know what, it's worth it. I want to see it in 70 mil. And that was my first viewing. I'm not seeing it in 70 mil this time. I'm going to be seeing it on a regular size screen. So I'll have some of where I'm going to be coming at it from is some of the what's it like on rewatch, and then we'll we'll incorporate that with your experiences on a first time watch, and I think it'll be fun.
Awesome. I'll make it a point to make sure I do that.
All right, great.
Real quick, since we're talking Odyssey and Nolan, so I rewatched Tenet.
Oh,
still confusing as fuck. So.
Yeah. I rewatched it last year and I loved it again. I still love it. It's
it's great. It's great.
Yeah, it is confusing though. All right, Sergio.
I look forward
to. It's wonderful to have you back.
Thanks.
Can you send us off here?
Of course, absolutely. Well, and first, thank you, Paul, for always making time with me. So it's appreciated. And on behalf of Paul and I, as we always say, you're awesome, you're amazing, and the world's a better place because you are in it. Thank you for joining us.
See you all next week.